When deciding to open up a savings account, there's many things to consider. Most importantly, how the account operates, how the interest is calculated, and when it's added to the account. In Chapter 3, we're going to be focusing on the process of simple interest. Alright, so simple interest is when the initial amount, or principal amount, earns a set interest for the length of time it is in the bank, meaning that the bank account will increase by the same amount each year. I highly suggest adding this definition to your glossary page. Okay, so our essential question, how do I calculate simple interest? This should be a bit of a review from our investigation. So a formula using percent, we need to turn that into a decimal. This should be a bit more self-explanatory. So 10% as a decimal goes to 0.1%. If we use the percentage rate as a decimal, then we can use the simple interest formula where simple interest equals principal times the rate as a decimal multiplied by the time. So you'll see it as SI equals P times R times T. For this, time is in years. Okay, example, determine the interest paid on $8,400 invested at 2.4% per annum, simple interest for 5 years. Per annum means per year. Okay, so we're going to put what we know into an equation, which is $8,400 multiplied by 0.024, which is 2.4% represented as a decimal, multiplied by 5 for 5 years. So we throw that into our calculator, we'll get $1,000 and $1,008. So that means that the interest paid would be $1,008, which means the investment would then be worth, or your bank account, $9,408. Okay, so when a formula is using percentage rate, so if we use the percentage rate as a percentage, we need to make sure we are putting the final, at the end we are dividing by 100. Okay? So determine the interest paid on same numbers. We got 8,400 again, 2.4%, 5 years. Put all our numbers in. This time the 2.4% has just carried down. We haven't changed it, but we're dividing the final answer by 100. The answer is the same. So these, there you go. There you go. So the answer is the same. Just depends on how you want to do it. All right. So what is the investment? What if the investment is not in years, but some other length of time? So we've been doing per annum. However, what if it is not? So time in days, we could divide using our same equation, SI equals P times R times T, divided by 365. Assume not a leap year. We could do time in months over 12, or time in quarters if it was being, the investment is, you pull it out after 1 quarter of a year, or time as 6 monthly, also called biannual. Okay, so if we use our original example where the principal amount was $8,400 and our interest rate is 2.4%, and previously we're doing it for 5 years, but if we're looking at the investment in a different length of time that's smaller than 1 year, we're going to have our T for time represented by 1, because we're going to divide it by 365 to find our time in days. So we're going to work through a few examples, but first off we can find the numerator, which is going to be $201.06. So that is the investment after 1 year. Then all we have to do is divide it by 365 to get the interest after 1 day, which would be 0.55. For time in months, we divide it by 12 and we get $16.8. Time in quarters would be 201.6 divided by 4 and we get $50.40. And then time as 6 monthly is divided by 2 and we get $100.80.